Hello, everyone, and welcome to Edge Talk Radio. My name is Angela Zabel. That's me. Today, we're going to be talking about whispers from the angels with angel coach and author Sue Elliott of North Carolina. She has so much more behind her, so I can't wait to get into this one. So, who am I? I have connected to spirit, working with a team in the non-physical my entire life, sharing messages from a multitude of realms with people. I'm a teacher, coach, medium, radio show host, writer, retreat host, gallery reader, doing speaking engagements, offering guidance, mediumship, intuition with online private and group sessions, classes, and the Amplified Universe monthly membership. This is a group growing our connection to us, our world, all that is around us, and our role in it. I've been sharing knowledge and working with others throughout the world. And you can find out more about me at pretty much all the social media aspects, but then go to my website, angelazabel.com. And today I'm going to try to get this in focus. Let's see what I can do. That's pretty good, I think. Edge Magazine is the leading events and media resource dedicated to all aspects of holistic living, health, wellness, and the mysteries beyond, sharing information, wisdom, and resources committed to promoting businesses, organizations, and individuals who support our collective journey to wholeness and balance. They're currently distributed in 30 states plus Canada with over 17,000 magazines per printing, and they have a vibrant online magazine with over 42,000 people reached per month. Have the magazine shipped to your door. Stay up to date with the newsletter. Become a drop spot and check out more with Kelly Wagner on the Being Curious show. And if you want to find out more about Edge Magazine, they're also pretty much on all the social media. But check them out at edgemagazine.net. And today we are here with Sue Elliott. Sue Elliott used to be a pretty normal person. I like that. She was a successful magazine editor and writer. For 30 years, she specialized in creating brand new automotive enthusiast and chef recipe food magazines. Then she launched her baby, a personal transformation magazine called Law of Attraction that was sold on newsstands nationwide. In the midst of all that, about 20 years ago, Sue began hearing messages from the angels. Not long after that, the angels started training her to coach people in a unique way by allowing the angels to ask questions and provide guidance through Sue. For the last 2 decades, Sue served as a successful and beloved angel coach. But recently, the angels guided her to stop doing private coachings. Instead, they told her to make their most potent messages accessible to far more people through a book called My Angel Coach. Receive your divine guidance and feel the angel's love, which contains 63 messages to support and uplift people. Each chapter starts with a colorful angel attunement that effortlessly dissolves subconscious programming, limiting beliefs, and other gunk that you may have on you. Sue is here today with wisdom from My Angel Coach to help you open up your intuition, learn how to ask the angels for help, awaken to the truth of your own power, and move from resistance, worry, and anxiety to more calm, clarity, and flourishing. She also has a free gift, and this is for especially for you all listening here. I am going to spell things out so you can get that down. But your free gift is Soothing Energy from the Angels. It's a downloadable recording that helps whenever you're feeling off. Plus, it's a great touch-up before important meetings, first dates, family gatherings, you name it, it's there. And that's at myangelcoach.com/soothing energy. And you can find out more on that on her website, and that is myangelcoach.com, and that is myangelcoach.com. And her book, My Angel Coach, Receive Your Divine Guidance and Feel the Angel's Love, 63 Messages to Support and Uplift You, is also on her. You can find it on her website. I believe it's also on Amazon, correct? And Kindle?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. And then also find her on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You definitely want to check out more about Sue, so take the time to do that. And Sue, I just want to say thank you for being here today. I know this is going to be so much fun. I can't wait to get into it. But I've got to ask, how did you go from that normal life and then starting to hear angels? What was that like?
It was more like la 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 la, I can't hear you, leave me alone. I was, let's face it, I was never totally normal. I'm one of these people, right? So I was always very sensitive and I was always very creative, always into writing. But
Mm.
while I was still, I think I was still a spokesperson for the automotive aftermarket when I started getting messages, and the angels would not be quiet until I would deliver the message to whoever it was for. And it wasn't for me, it was for somebody I was talking to in the moment or sitting next to. And I finally just learned to give in and say whatever it was they were telling me to say, and then I could go back to my real life. And you can see how that worked out, right?
Yeah,
This became my real life.
it's the perfect life.
It is. We were just marveling how we actually get this is our work. We get to do this. How amazing. How blessed are we?
Absolutely. It is amazing to do this and to be able to talk. For me, I get to be able to talk to so many different people with so many different specialties, and it's just amazing. And the personalities, I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And I've got to say one thing, my team, so for those who don't know, I have a team in the non-physical. They're talking to me quite a bit. So what they're saying now is they want to back up a little bit when you said you were in the automotive aftermarket, you had been doing a chef magazine, you had the attraction law of attraction magazine, you had so many different parts of it. What I'm hearing from them is, do you feel all of those different journeys that you were on has helped you really understand and be able to connect with people on a different level than you would have if you wouldn't have had that journey?
Yes. I mean, the answer is so multifaceted. I'll try and tease it out. On the simplest level, the automotive enthusiast magazines were really hands-on how-to magazines where you take engineering information and you make it really accessible so anybody can do it at home. So I
Nice.
wrote hundreds of how-to articles, how to swap from drum brakes to disc brakes, how to heat shrink your roof, how to reupholster your seats. And so taking that complicated material and making it fit in a 3 or 4 page article and taking the pictures and writing the how-to captions really helped me hone in on saying things succinctly and clearly and what was important. And it also helped me get over my ego because when I started doing this, while I loved cars, many times I was in some expert's shop and I would have to point at something and say, "What do you call that?" Like, what is that thing? And
I
so
was wondering about that journey.
yeah, I was super into it, but I didn't know everything about everything,
Yeah,
and I couldn't pretend because then when I got back to my desk, I wouldn't be able to write the article, right? So
right.
this was before you could look everything up on the internet.
Yeah,
So I literally had to
exactly.
ask the experts,
We're not dating
leave
each
their
other.
shop.
We're not dating each other right now.
Oh no,
But
but we're
it was
probably about
before
the
the
same
internet.
age. Maybe it existed, but we didn't use it yet. And, and along those same lines, like chef recipe food magazines, those are how-tos also. I mean, they were recipes. It's step by step how to cook something. And ironically, I don't cook, but that made me an amazingly good recipe editor because I knew when there were missing steps. I didn't know
Uh,
how to get from step 3 to step 4, so there must be something missing there. So all of this was really good training to take complicated or conceptual information and make it super accessible to people.
yeah.
And I always wrote in a very conversational style, like it was like talking to me. And so that's what the book is like too. I have a lot of longtime clients who've been saying, it's just like getting a private session from you. I feel like you were talking to me the whole time. Like, yay, that's exactly what we intended.
I think that's really important though, to I love the idea that you didn't know how to cook, you didn't know everything about cars, but because of that and that curiosity and wanting to get it down where someone who doesn't understand it completely can follow it step by step. I think that's so important, and I believe it really helped you as you moved into the angelic realm. But I really feel that really made a difference because you're working with people because as you were going through it, they were talking to you and you were sometimes wanting to push them away and not wanting to listen, but but they were talking to you, but you had to find a way to even give the messages. And now, as you've gone into the angel realms and doing your angel guidance, your angel coaching, that's been, I feel, such a big help to you because you're doing it in a way of what if these people have no concept and have not had a connection with them? And I feel that has been such a big change and a big, I'm just my team is saying they want everyone to understand anything can be learned, anything can be understood if it's done in a way where it's step by step you can understand it. And that's something you have been so clear about and helping people out. I love the automotive background because I'm just going to say a little segue. When I was growing up, my dad and a lot of my brothers were mechanics, and so my first thing is when I got a car, it was here's the book on how to fix it. You take care of it and you fix it. So I've changed engines and transmissions and everything else in between.
I love it. That's awesome. What was your first car?
I had a 1968 Dodge Monaco.
Fun. I
It
love
was it was fun. It was big. It was a tank.
it.
And it was, I think it was like almost 20 years. I don't know how old it was when I got it. It was older. It was sitting there, so it was older. But it was a tank, but it worked well, and I had to work on it different times. I had to work on other vehicles I had, so it worked out well. What was your first car?
It was a 74 Chevy Nova with a
Oh,
352 barrel.
nice, nice.
And considering that was the early 80s, when people were driving like Chevy Citations and, really sort of gutless cars, my car was pretty cool. Wasn't bad.
Hmm. I like it. I like it. I have to say, I used to race guys with my car, and a lot of times I would win. So
Ditto. You don't meet a lot of angel people you can talk cars with. This is awesome.
no, no, I love it. I love it. I know it's like, ooh, cars. I like this.
The angels want me to add that one of the other, kind of at the other end of the spectrum, is all those years being involved with cars and going to really good restaurants. And I also wrote about wine when I lived in the Napa Valley. It prepared me to work with executives, really like C-level executives. And so I've had a lot of clients who were business owners, business leaders, some in like Fortune 100 companies. And that background worked on so many levels because it was when once we would talk about food and wine and places I'd traveled and, maybe whatever kind of cars they were into, there was a sort of, oh, okay, I'm interested in what you have to say now. What do you do?
And that's interesting because my team was bringing up the same thing is saying because of your varied background and your knowledge, you're also coming off as someone that's respectable, not one of those crazy people, because a lot of times with what we do, people look at it, if they only know this part of us, they're like, "Ooh, that's a little bit different, a little bit not normal." But once you can meet someone on that level plane of understanding all these different aspects with the chefs, with the wines, with the cars, you're able to have conversations and also show you do have knowledge. You're not just the woo-woo person who is just kind of out here flying on left field. And it builds the respect and the credibility. And I'm finding, and my team is saying, that's why you're seeing so many people who were in positions of dealing with a lot of people, having respect, having a lot of knowledge, because they need people, and they're saying those out here, they need people who are coming from a space of we are normal people. We are not way out here all the time, walking on air, walking on water, but we know what we're talking about, and we are all here to bring that respectability into this field. And I think that is so important. I'm seeing so many people with such varied backgrounds, but also that carry so much respect in what they've accomplished in their normal life.
I'm so glad you're seeing it too. And yeah, there are a lot of people awakening in all areas of life. And those people in leadership positions have the ability to affect thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people every day. And so
Abs-
there are some of us who don't present very woo-woo, so that we're more palatable for them, relatable for them, and have had experience. Like I've had experience working with big publishing companies. It's pretty corporate. I can speak corporate.
And I think that's something so important is moving forward because there's a lot of people, and my team is just saying there's a lot of people out there that are in jobs, places of higher respect, and they hate to use the word higher, but you're working amongst other people where they're also having experiences like we have had, and as we're going to be getting into the show more, where they've had these experiences and trying to find a way to bring both of those worlds together to find a way to be able to talk to people without going, oh man, if I talk about that, I could lose my position where I'm at because it's going to be too out there. And there's still a lot of fear and a lot of critiquing with people that do the things in our field here. And so it's really good to bring that out. So to get people more comfortable, to be much more comfortable working with their angels and working with those on the other side and all the other realms and just understanding who we are, consciousness. I think
Yes.
that's important. And you started hearing the angels about 20 years ago, but you weren't hearing things before that, were you not? What happened? What's going on between then and the 20 years? I need a little fill-in on
Am
that.
I getting ratted out by your team? Hey,
Yeah, you're getting
no.
ratted out.
So when I was little, I used to have dreams. I was maybe 6 or 7. I used to have dreams, and then the exact thing I dreamt would happen in school the next day. And it totally freaked me out. So I turned that off pretty early on. So I could have had a very different unfolding if I had been more open to it. But, it's a free will planet. And so they backed off at that point, gave me some space to experience more what it was like to be a normal kid.
And that brings up a really good point. A lot of people, they get to a point where they're like, "Oh, that was a little much. I'm gonna try to back that off. I'm gonna put that in the background, put it in the closet for a while." And sometimes we come down on ourselves like, oh, what if I would have followed that earlier? But really, a lot of times we're not meant to follow that earlier. It's just a little bit of an awakening time to say, hey, you're you're a little bit more than human. Here's a reason why you're a little more than human. But you just sit and mull on that for a while and you go on and do your life and enjoy your life and have all the experiences that are out there. And those experiences will then bring back and create a whole new world again for you. And as you started doing that, so as you said about 20 years ago, they got a little loud. How did that happen?
A girlfriend of mine decided to have a girls' tea, a ladies' tea, for her birthday. And we had so much fun. We did it at a tea house. And we had so much fun that we decided to meet every quarter, the whole group of us. And the tea house eventually shut down. So we started meeting at a psychic fair that had a little tea shop next to
Oh,
it. So, so we're sitting outside the tea shop, and one of the ladies who I don't really know, I only know her from this group, said something about I can't afford whatever. And the angel said, tell her not to say that ever again. And I was like, I can't do that. I don't even know this person. Who are you? And they wouldn't shut up until I finally grabbed her hands and said, I'm getting a message for you. Please don't use the words I can't afford. And she looked at me kind of weird and was like, okay. Then I could hear the conversation again and get back into what we were doing. And it was less awkward after that first time, but slowly over time, they began to show me the kinds of things I could do. So I was at an event in wine country actually one time, and a woman had arthritis in her finger, and she was busy. It was all like C-shaped, it was crooked. And she was busy telling my friend all about the things she couldn't do anymore because she loved to do like needlework and stuff, and it was her right hand.
Oh,
And for whatever reason, I felt inspired to take her hand and like gently stroke it. And all of a sudden, I felt kind of a clunk, and her finger went back to perfectly straight. And my friend saw
wow.
it, but this woman was so busy telling her story of not being able to do what she likes to do that by the time she was done, it had gone back to being crooked. So we got out to the parking lot. My friend was like, what just happened in there? It's like, well, apparently I can heal people by touching them. And if they're not ready to receive it, they won't.
That's something so important for people to understand. The energy is there, the ability is there, or not the ability. My team is saying not the ability. The ability for the people to step into that change is there. But if they're not ready, they're not ready, and that's okay. But sometimes it's to witness what's possible if they're ready. And that's something where you saw the finger actually change, go back to its normal state. But they were so engrossed in their own story that it changed it right back.
Yes.
And is that something, so for me, a lot of times my team, Angelic, the whole ball of wax out there, they've been telling me how important the words we speak are. What have you been getting about that, about the words we speak, and what does it cause? Can it be helped? Can you change? Is it just being aware to be able to make changes? What's your thought on it?
Oh my goodness. This is my favorite topic ever. Um, to the point that when I was in my early 20s, I wanted to get the license plate word woman because I'm so about words. So there are some things in this book about word choice, right? Here's what the angels want to say. We have the ability to transform our inner experience of things by the story we tell ourselves about whatever it was.
Mm.
And that's 100% malleable. We can change that story anytime we want. And the thing the angels want to share is if we're telling a story that doesn't feel good, and believe me, I still do this. Everybody having a human experience encounters
We're hu
things that make us
we're
go,
human.
ew, yuck, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Um, the minute we feel any relief when we're changing the story, we know that we've made a profound inner shift.
Oh,
So, for example, I had a client a few years ago who was getting divorced, and his daughter was in college at the time, and she was really angry. She blamed him for the divorce. And when he came to us, he felt like he was estranged from his daughter. He was heartbroken. He was resentful. He was, all the flavors of upset that you would expect a father to be when his daughter was lashing out at him in anger and blaming him and didn't want to talk to him. And as we just gently pulled the threads there, we got to the place where he changed his story from I'm estranged from my daughter hates me, to my relationship with my daughter is tricky. And the
love
minute
that.
he found the word tricky, he laughed out loud. He felt so much relief that he literally laughed. And he was like, oh, like lots of things are tricky. Learning to ride a bike is tricky. Learning to do algebra is tricky. And, we master all those things. We're able, well, maybe math, not so much for you,
Maybe
but
not
it's
algebra.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not there with the algebra.
Okay. For some of us, boiling water is tricky, but we can do it eventually. And the thing is, it's really about feeling that relief. And laughing out loud is an even better sign, right? It's better than just, oh, that felt lighter. It's like, ah. So they want us to notice when we use words like, I can't afford that, that's definitely anchoring us in lack consciousness.
Yes.
Likewise, you've probably talked about this with other people, but they want to draw our attention to any sentence that includes I am. I am chronically ill. I am,
Mm.
you know, not X, or I am too Y, right? The minute we say those things, they just want us to notice. Like we don't have to stop the flow of conversation and edit ourselves out loud in the moment, but they want us to sort of make a mental note and explore that. Like, is that true? What if? And they want to go here with it. When we were each created by the divine, unique, not just on this planet, but unique in all the cosmos. And we were born into cultures, families, neighborhoods, schools that wanted us to be more like your sister or more like the cool kids, or at least not as incredibly dorky as we were. And and they taught us comparison from a very early age and preference, right? Who's your best friend? Which is your favorite color?
Ooh.
What's your favorite food? So they want us to not give ourselves a hard time about any of this. It's where we were born. It's what we were born into. There's an energy soup here.
Yes.
And they want us to just give it to the angels, right? Okay, angels, for 45 years, I've believed that I'm too X. I'm too I'm out of shape. I'm too chubby. I'm too tall. I'm too short. I'm whatever. Just give it to them. Thank you, angels, for helping me let go of whatever beliefs are not the truth about me.
Mm.
And they will dissolve that stuff gently. Now, they may bring experiences into our lives to help us see that thing again, but they want us to know it's a spiral journey. So it's not that we're back in that same old place again. We're actually higher up on the spiral with a higher perspective, and we can appreciate how far we've come, how little it knocked us off our center this time. Like that thing that she used to say to me would, I'd be in bed for a week after that. Well, now I was annoyed for a half hour. That's so much lighter. Look at that. I'm doing so much better.
I think that's so huge, though, for people to see. Just because it comes around doesn't mean you're back where you were. And when you said the spiral, one thing they always showed me is the spiral staircase. You can still see where you were, but you're not there anymore. You're just observing it, but you have a totally different perspective and you're changing your perspective. And that's so, so key as we go forward. And I love when you brought up like who's my best friend. You don't even realize when you said that, I'm like, oh my gosh, you don't even realize even since we were real young, you were you were like this path of choosing who's my best friend, who's my best teacher, and you're categorizing and getting these strong beliefs because now if they're your best friend, that means, well, what does that all entail? I have to treat a best friend this way and they have to treat me this way and it has to last for this long. And oh my gosh, if a best friend goes away, what's wrong with me? And I like how you said it because it made me realize there's so much more that has been taught and ingrained on us that we didn't even realize. We didn't even realize.
And the people who did it were well-meaning. They weren't trying to cause gunk in our system, but nonetheless, it creates judgment, it creates comparison, it creates so many of the things that we use against ourselves later.
And I think that's the biggest thing is understanding it creates a space where we are almost fighting against each other all through our life as we're looking at these beliefs. And now I've got to ask, we're in a different energy right now than when we were younger, and this energy is totally different. How do you feel about the energy that we're in going forward as a whole for humanity and for the individual?
Ooh, I love this question. Well, for starters, the Earth herself has been shifting. She's been rising in frequency, in vibration. So she is now a fertile host for those of us who've come in for this time. So I'm going to make a sweeping generalization and say everybody listening to this show is probably part of the team who's here to
Yes.
help humanity rise up into a higher level of consciousness. That's why I'm here, and that's what the book is all about. It's about helping us let go of 3D reality and live in 5D. So the planet is ready for us. She's been preparing herself and had help from others. And those of us who are here to raise the vibration for humanity and enable a new reality for humanity are in the most fertile times. So they want to say that where you started this question was so perfect because we were born into a time that didn't feel like this.
Yes.
Even if you were born 5 years ago, you were born into a time that didn't feel like this.
Yes.
So they want you to be very gentle with yourself, you and me both. They want us to be very gentle with ourselves because,
We're not hard on ourselves at all, are we, Sue?
oh my Lord, yes, we are. So all of that. So they want us to know a lot of things, obviously. They're all talking at once. Um,
This is nice because usually I'm the one that went, and I'm like, kind of fun.
is it like a mirror?
Yes.
So they want to say we were born when the service paradigm was still one of self-sacrifice and suffering.
Mm,
Now, coming back to word selection, we don't use the word service anymore. We don't say what's in service to humanity or in service to yourself, even, or your clients. We talk about what's supportive.
Mm,
because service is from the same root as servitude and slavery. And that's what humanity was experiencing, a collective enslavement. So now the slavery grids have collapsed, according to those who monitor such things, who I feel a truth with, right? I just got another wave of
yes.
goosebumps, the angels saying yes. So we are in a very different time. And that's all just within the last few months. So they want you to know that the energy is changing rapidly. If you feel sudden exhaustion, or for me, I sometimes get a little wooziness, or I get hot and cold simultaneously, or hungry, not hungry, it's your body catching up to the energetic shifts that have been happening in the other aspects of your being. But what's really happening is that more and more of the truth of you can be embodied now.
Mm.
So this was not a very fertile environment when we first came in, for, very bright light beings to walk around all shiny. And, at that point, we attracted lots and lots of darkness. And so they want us to know that the reason we haven't been our full, bright, shiny selves is not because we were playing small. Now, there may have been some aspect of that, but most of that is an unfortunate teaching that actually keeps you small because it keeps you believing there's something wrong with you and how you're showing up. So they
Mm.
just want to dissolve all of that from you and let you relax into being more and more of yourself. So the 5D reality that is now very possible and very supported by the angels and other supportive beings from this and other planets is an embodiment of your divine, your unique aspect of the divine and physical. It's so beautiful. And it's so different from the density that we experienced when we first emerged into 3D, when we first came into utero, really, and really felt this planet. So they want us to give ourselves grace too, because it's a big shift. And it's at the end of the day, the journey, and that's what the book is about letting go of what's not authentically you without any self-condemnation, without any blame of anybody else. Just give it to the angels, let them dissolve it. And they will. They do it effortlessly and so gently, and they won't remove too much gunk at a time. They're very, like so many times we've said to a client, this is going to unfold over the next 2 weeks. Because if they took out too much at once, it would leave sort of a who am I, what am I? It would be hard to function in reality.
I think that's something really important for people to hear is as you're going through this and as you're releasing beliefs and releasing the gunk, and they're showing me a can, the can of gunk, the actual can of gunk they use for ours.
I love that.
And it's knowing that even that, when you put gunk on something and you're trying to get it off, it takes off a part at a time, and sometimes you might have to do a few layers. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It just means you're working through the layers. And I like how you said it doesn't mean when we came in with that heavier energy, the different energy, it doesn't mean that we were making ourselves small, but we were just working through it. We were just working our way through it. And my team is also saying there's a lot of times a lot of us were in that protection area because if we would have came out to the extent that like you and I have done and others have done at this point, if that would have been 20 years ago, it would not have been perceived so much in the way it is now, or 30 years ago or whatever. It was a different time, a different energy. Sometimes it was keeping us the way we are, not keeping us. They're saying we hate to use, they don't want us to think of it that way. But you as a divine soul were keeping yourself protected. It was your bubble of protection you had around you so you could navigate the world still keeping your light, but you're not going to. They're showing me. They're doing all kinds of car references, like buffing out the car and stuff like that.
I love it.
They're saying then it got to the point where you could start buffing yourself. You could start letting your shine come out because you knew it was the right time. And I think that's so many times. I mean, I myself look back at things and went, oh man, what if I would have, done things differently or came done earlier? But my team also said, but then you wouldn't have had the experiences you had. And for me, it was so important for family to be there for family, and when our kids were growing up, to be the mom there. And I knew, if looking back, if I would have had a lot of this happen earlier, I mean, not that it wasn't happening, but I didn't bring it out into the open. If I would have let it come out in the open earlier, I wouldn't have had the time that I wanted with my kids, and that was important too. And is that something you've discovered as you've looked back too?
Absolutely. I've had some experiences that were not pleasant in the moment
Yes.
and that made me question why couldn't I see that coming? Right? Like, because I was already in this part of my journey, I'd already come out of the closet as talking to angels. And and then I got into relationship with a narcissist. But if I hadn't been in a relationship with a narcissist, I would never have been able to help people who were, because it's just different, right? It's a different kind of wounding. And usually they just want to say that they put me in that situation and then they brought me probably 15 or 20 clients who were dealing with either being in a relationship or having just come out of a relationship with somebody who is with narcissistic personality disorder. I don't mean it like in the colloquial. And some of those relationships where it was boss. So because a big part of what I'm here to do is help transform the experience of work.
I love how you brought that in, because this is about the changes not only in ourselves but in our workplace. And I love how you said, when you had an experience, then all of a sudden all these people with the same type of experience came in. I've had the same thing where it's like I went through something and it's like all of a sudden all the clients I had, all were, not every single one, but a good majority were all dealing with that same thing. Because of that, like you had come from a place of understanding it at its core and being able to talk from experience how to move through it. That's so key going forward. Because a lot of people are like, well, you've never experienced, how can you talk on that? But I like how that happens. And then the other part of it is bringing this into the workplace, because for me, let me know what you and your angels say, but for me, it's been, there's changes coming in all facets, all realms of society, of everything we know that we thought is true, that we're going to discover is not true. But another part of it is bringing this supportive energy into the workplace, into governments, into everything, where people are not trying to take advantage of others, where they're doing it from a space of love and support for other people. Is that something you've been hearing, seeing, experiencing? What's your take on it?
Yes, yes, yes. Uh, so, so before I even take another step, the angels are saying there's a whole section in the book about being unconditional love for yourself first.
Very
And they
true.
want to start there because all the problems we see in the world come from a lack of self-love.
Yes.
People who don't love themselves and don't feel lovable do all kinds of things. They act out in all kinds of ways across the spectrum, right? Needy, clingy at one end, desperate for validation and feeling safe and secure. And at the other end, manipulation and control and domination in order to feel safe.
Yes.
So when we tend to our own inner harmony first before we do anything else at home, in parenting, in romantic relationships, in the workplace, in school, in church, wherever you may be, when we tend to our own inner harmony first, we're being the change, first of all. We're modeling that behavior for others. So part of what I'm here to do is help bring that into the workplace because and I have to say it's starting. I was invited to speak to a business networking group a couple weeks ago where 80 people registered to hear about listening to your angels and how to take
Oh,
inspired action. So,
wow.
and these were C-level leaders in organizations. So and the bulk of them were in the HR space, which is really exciting because they're the people inside the
Yeah.
organizations, which makes sense. But even the people in operations and purchasing. And the more we normalize the ability to say, okay, things are getting a little tense in here. I can see people are getting upset. Let's take a moment and center. And let's all be there for ourselves for a minute. Can we center enough to continue this conversation, or shall we table it and come back to it tomorrow? Right? When we start to lead in our family, in our organizations, from that space of, I'm noticing that I'm feeling turbulence. Is anybody else feeling off right now? Okay, let's just take a moment and let's regroup. Let's look at this from a different angle, right? So we've been looking at the problem for so long and trying to get to the bottom of it, right? And the angels always laugh when we say things like that because they're like, there's no bottom, you can dig forever. So let's approach it from a different angle. And this is where words matter too, right? Like, this is
Yeah.
the problem, and who's to blame and what's the cause? And instead, what if we came at it like, well, that was unexpected. I wonder what happened there. When we bring curiosity in and compassion and openness, people can start to tease apart what's going on. They can start to feel into it and sense into it. And one person can say, yeah, I had a feeling, people were going to misinterpret what we said this way. And that's actually what
Mm.
happened. Um, they're showing me when General Motors, I used to have the Nova, right? And when General
Yes.
Motors brought the Nova to Mexico, Nova means it doesn't go in Spanish. And nobody wanted to buy a car called It Doesn't Go.
Really? That makes sense. That
So
makes sense.
you can imagine what that meeting was like. And so
Yeah.
if he had gone in there and been like, well, that was most surprising, it probably would have unfolded with fewer heads rolling.
That's true. And I think that's the biggest thing is seeing people are starting to take a different approach. People are being open to having a different approach. And my team is bringing up, so there was it was a class on opening your intuition and with someone else and I'm like, oh, and they were had the accreditation, so you could get the credits for like if you're a teacher, something like that. And I went and I was so surprised at the amount of people. There were police officers, firefighters, principals, teachers. There were all of these different genres of employment that you wouldn't think would be part of this, that we're all opening up to just being in touch with your intuition. And for me, it was just so amazing to see the shift and the change. And they're saying like nurses, doctors, there were all these people in that room. And it was amazing to see the difference. And like for you to do the angel class, for them to want, for so many people in positions that can make the change, to see that shift in the people that are open and willing to go, is there a better way than what we've been taught and what we've learned? And as you've been doing this, are you seeing more and more people that maybe this surprised you that actually that came or signed up that you wouldn't have expected this to be for people to be interested in those genres?
Yes, absolutely. And I love that you brought in the different professions, right? Because how many police officers really have to learn to trust their gut?
Yes.
Whether it's to walk into a situation that could be dangerous or deadly, or in solving a case, you know, we all have the ability to receive the guidance in the moment. Um, some people call it effortless knowing in the moment. It's actually how we were built. I read an article
Mm.
a while ago called Your Brain is an Antenna. We weren't meant to figure everything out between our ears, but when we were in school, you had to show your work. You couldn't say, I looked at the division question and I received the answer. That was not acceptable to your math teacher. She wanted you to show how to do long division. So it got trained out of us when we were very little.
Yeah.
But that is more and more how we're being asked to show up in what some people call beginner's mind, right? Unfortunately, another thing that happened in school from a very early age was you were supposed to know. Not only were you supposed to know the right answer. You were supposed to know what that teacher thought was the right answer. So
Ah,
I was
yes.
very lucky that in elementary school, I had one teacher who believed in the serial comma, the Harvard comma. Some people call it A, comma, B, comma, and C. And then the next year, I had a teacher who said that was wrong. There shouldn't be that comma before and. It should be A,
Uh,
comma, B, and C. And that helped me see very early that most of this stuff is subjective. There is no concrete right or wrong about it. Likewise, we know that history books are written by the conquerors, right? So it's a different perspective than the other people. Um,
yes, I'm glad you
so,
brought that up.
so the more we can let go of not only needing to know, but needing to show up like we know, the
Hmm.
more we can experience connection and collaboration and creativity and innovation and all the things we say we want in the workplace, in our families, in our lives. The more we show up in a, well, that was most unexpected, or I wonder where we're going next. It seems like this product has reached the end of its life cycle, or it seems like, this major that my child is taking in college isn't working for them. They hate it and they're getting D's, right? Okay, clearly not the path for them. The more we can
Yes.
show up and, well, isn't that interesting? I wonder what else is possible. The more we can live from our divine guidance, follow our inspiration, and less imposter syndrome, less stress,
Mhm.
less fake it till you make it, more authenticity. And that word gets bandied about a lot. And the angels want to say that, when you're having a meltdown in Walmart, you are being authentic. You're just being authentic at a different level, a different plane of consciousness than when you're showing up as your bright, shiny self. Oh, and they want to circle back around to that showing up as your bright, shiny self
Yes.
because they show me over and over that they actually control that. So there are times like now where they want me to show up as my full, bright, shiny self. But there are times, like when I was experiencing a dear friend's demonstration of her healing modality, where they shut me down so that I wouldn't help heal the person she was working on, so that we could experience her healing modality. So they
Yeah.
want us to know there are times where we're simply meant to witness what is happening and not affect it. So they're encouraging us to not give ourselves a hard time for not affecting the outcome of that conversation or meeting or whatever it was,
Mm.
that if we can trust that we were simply meant to see that. And my favorite question for receiving our divine guidance that works in every situation is, angels, is there something for me to do or say right now?
Hmm.
So they want to say about 85% of the time the answer is no. We saw what we were meant to see. We now know that we don't want to invest our money with that person because they're not in alignment with our core values. We don't want to eat in that restaurant anymore because we don't like the way they do things, whatever it may be, right?
Yes.
We saw what we needed to see. There's nothing for us to do about it. We simply, okay, got it. Um, and then in those times where there is something to do or say, they'll let us know. We don't figure that out either. And they want to say, because so many of us, I went to an Ivy League school and graduated Phi Beta Kappa, and so I tend to attract recovering intellectuals, right? Like we
Recovering
know all about
intellectual.
things and we could talk about it for hours. But they want us, so if we have busy minds, which I still do, they don't want us to give ourselves a hard time for that either. They just want us to give our minds something to do. So if we're in that moment and we said, Angel says there's something for me to do or say right now, and the angel said no, and we're like, but I still want to do something. They're like, okay, here's what you can do. Is there an energy that I can be, that I can radiate, that feels harmonious to me in this situation? So if people are scared, perhaps I feel inspired to be calm. If people are confused, perhaps I feel inspired to embody clarity or focus.
Mm.
And that is, it's a being and a doing, and I just got a wave of goosebumps. It's a very different way of interacting with what's going on around you, but it's actually the most powerful way of interacting with what's going on.
I think that's really important for people to hear because there's a lot of people that, as they say, sometimes that type A personality, you're always going, always doing. And sometimes you think you have to do something all the time. You have to be doing something. And sometimes the something is doing nothing, really, is to just sit back and, like you said, either take in the healing, observe what's going on, allow your energy to go out there. And I think it's hard too for a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that are, like you said earlier, anybody listening or watching this, you're here for a reason. You're here to hear the message, and you're also one of the people who are that bright, shining star that's, shining your energy out there. And it's knowing that sometimes we need to just be okay who we are, not have to do something else, because a lot of times the people that are in a lot of this, they're people that you're always helping somebody. You always feel the need to help. You always, the servitude, like you had brought up earlier, that servitude comes into play. And it's really important to know that now it's a time to be supportive. And like you said, to just sit back and go, well, I want to, but what can I do? Because I know I shouldn't interject myself right there, but I really want to.
Yes, and the angels really want to say that a lot of people feel that pressure to act and to help and to fix and to save and to rescue
Yes.
because of childhood experiences. So they don't want you to beat yourself up for that either.
Mm,
And if it feels primal that you must step in, that's a sure sign that it's because of childhood trauma. A lot of us were born into, well, very few of us were born to ascended masters. Most of us were born to people going through their own flavor of human experience. And many of us had to make sure one or both of our parents were okay in order to be safe, right? They don't want to diminish it. When you're 2 years old, you need those big people to feed you and clothe you and make sure you have a roof over your head, or, a tent if you're camping. They're laughing. They're like, I always roof. They're so funny. I find that
they
they have
are.
a really good sense of humor. But they want to say that if you have that pattern of jumping in to fix and change things, just keep being gentle with yourself, being loving to yourself, soothing yourself first. And then, angels, is there something for me to do or say right now? They want to keep it super simple. If you feel turbulence, if you're not feeling inner harmony, be love for yourself. Then ask that question. That's all you have to remember.
I think that's really important, though, to really be the support for yourself, love yourself as you're going through this, and understanding that not every path is where you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to be interjected in everything. Sometimes, like you said, with even being in relationships where you have narcissistic people around you, and you're going, what did I do? And it's like, well, sometimes you're there just to learn, just to understand. And there's one thing, so there was one thing you talked about in your book. I think it was page 13. So I'm going to be honest with everybody. What I do is when people have books, I'll ask my team, what am I supposed to bring out from this book? And they have me just like fling through. It's kind of like doing oracle cards and go, oh, that page, that's what you need to talk about. So that's how I do it.
Cool.
But what they brought out is you talked about divine timing, and it says in that book, it says, finally I listened to my divine guidance, which had been telling me for quite some time. This venture is not going to launch, and there is nothing you can do to change that. And once you finally got the message, your next steps were to clear, and you stepped away from a project and replaced yourself with someone who could joyfully support the founder exactly where he was on his journey. So this is what you were working with a company, a founder, a CEO, and looking at it and going, this project just isn't going to work. We need to take a different direction. And knowing that divine timing will bring you somewhere. So when you were, and this is something my team wanted to bring up because it's been coming up a lot with timing, divine timing, not necessarily our timing. And then also what helps you, and you have the angels there. How can you work with the angels to help you go, okay, this project or where I'm going with this is it's just not going to work. When do you get the point where you go, if I push just a little bit further, I'll get there, or oh, this I need to go a totally different direction. What's your thoughts on that?
I love that question. So they want to say that when we feel that we're pushing, stop. So,
Mm.
and I felt a sense of urgency over the weekend, and that is a clue, right? When you feel urgency, I'm not saying that I don't get this stuff just as much as you do. That's why it's easy for me to write about because
Right.
I've been
We're
there.
human.
Do as I say, not as I do
Yeah.
sometimes. Um, When we feel like we're pushing or we're forcing something or we have to make it happen, right? We've been taught to make things happen.
Yes.
They want to say the book. Now, I've written a lot of books. I used to be a book editor too, among other things. I could, and I did. I wrote the first book for Ed Begley Jr. in 6 weeks. Like I can write a book really fast. This book took 2 years because it wasn't ready to come out. It's not, we're not going to push the baby out of, the uterus until it's ready to be birthed. It
Yes.
doesn't help anybody if we rip open the chrysalis before the butterfly's wings are fully formed. So they want us to remember that, right? And when we're not feeling any sign of which way to go, we're probably in another chrysalis phase, right? We're
Mhm.
always evolving and becoming and then resting a little bit, and then evolving and becoming and then resting a little bit. It's we're following the cycles of the seasons. Maybe we have our own mini cycles. So we have, a week of intense effort and then we need to regroup.
Yes.
And oftentimes they want us to know that one of the places we sometimes get confused is we're following our guidance and we take a couple steps in the direction it said to go. And then it isn't flowing like they rolled out the red carpet in front of us. And we're like, what the hell? I followed my guidance. And they're saying sometimes we have to take a step or two and see how it feels. And then we know from how it feels in our body, how it feels emotionally, what unintended consequences just happened, that oh, that's not the way. But now I know. Now I have clarity. Now I can ask different, maybe better questions, right? Maybe that it's not flowing is I need to go a little to the left or the right. Maybe it's I need to run in the other direction, but we'll know. And we have to take the step often to get the next piece of guidance because our guidance tends to come one or two steps at a time. They don't generally illuminate an entire path for us because it tends to be overwhelming.
And that's something really key for people to understand. Sometimes it feels like you feel like it's the right decision to go in a certain direction. You take a few steps in and go, not really. And it's okay to go, oh, I was here to understand maybe what I don't want or what's not going to work. And now I know if I try to bring some of that into what I really want, none of that's going to work. So it really is a way. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I went the wrong way. No, you didn't go the wrong way. You went the exact right way because sometimes you have to know what doesn't work in order
Yes.
to find what does. It's so important.
How many times have we bought a course or, dated who our parents said we were supposed to love? And we're like, oh, no, that's not for me. And that's super valuable information.
And I think that's something we don't give ourselves the support ourselves to say it is valuable to take, like you said, it is super valuable information to know I don't want to be with that person. Or it was just an understanding, like sometimes you have your own boundaries in yourself and you're going, well, maybe it'll be okay. So you step that way and go, oh, no, 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 no. It's much better to go back the other way. And that's something when you have been doing this book, you have a lot of different guidance in there. Like you said, you got 63 messages of support in there. Is what my team is laughing. So how'd you get it down to 63?
They know me so well. So I had to split the book in two. So, truth be told, this is the most potent stuff. I promise. This is the foundational book. If you only get one book, get this book. And the next book is about relationships. There was originally a section on relationships and a section on enjoying the journey, and it was just too much. It was, and everything that was more conceptual, less practical, we pulled out of the book. And then we were able to split some of the things in two because right before I was ready to publish, I had one of those aha moments where I went, or more like a smack your forehead moment, where I went, oh, I never really explained what we mean by unconditional love. We only talk about it for the entire book. Maybe there should be a section on that. So
Mm,
as I pulled a bunch of content out, and not because we don't love you and we didn't want to give you everything, but because the
right.
book would have been too expensive, frankly. because it's color throughout, it's a little more expensive than most books of that size. And it's funny, people keep telling me it looks like a magazine inside, which the first time I heard it, I was like, of course it does, because I
I
did
wonder
magazines for
why.
30 years. And so I would have liked for it to be one of those special numbers, right? Like 111 messages from the angels, or 101 even, or 52 weeks of angel messages. But no, it was 63, and I just had to get over myself again and be like, okay, 63 it is. All right.
63 creates a number nine, and that's all about endings and beginnings. So, what a perfect number, I think.
There we go. It was numerology, and I didn't know.
Yes.
Of course, they knew.
Well, yeah, they know everything. It's sometimes like, oh, yeah, I get it now.
That's so funny. So you just totally did what I do when guidance comes in and my inner 8-year-old goes, duh, I knew that. But we call that of courseness. Like sometimes our guidance, well, always, our guidance has this profound flavor of coarseness. Like, oh, of course.
Mm.
As opposed to being very yummy or even very like, you should do this. It tends to feel very neutral most of the time, unless it's energy calling us forward, and then it feels more like eagerness and curiosity. But the majority of our guidance just feels like, oh, of course, that's the next step. That makes sense.
And I like how you said that because really they don't want to make us feel bad. They really don't. They have an amazing sense of humor. They like to lighten us up when we get a little too hard on ourselves, which I know it never happens for you or I, but
The knowing laugh.
yeah, yeah. But it's knowing that they don't want us to take it to heart. They don't want it to call us out to say, "See, you were bad. See, you did that wrong." It's not that at all. It's more of a, here, this is what you experienced. Here's a way to look at it differently. Here's how to move through it in a light way, in a light-hearted way. And because honestly, the people that are the most hardest on us are usually us.
Oh, yeah.
Usually us.
Yes. The people that we attract are the people who demand, I don't want to say demand perfection, but in a way, that's just the shorthand way to say it. That we expect ourselves to be kindness and love in action every moment of every day. And the grace that we would extend to everybody else, we sometimes forget to extend to ourselves.
And I think that's really important to hear because there are a lot of people here, there's people who are in businesses where they're working on healing and talking, putting courses out, doing different things, working with people one-on-one, and other people who, and one of the things my team has always said, people don't give themselves enough credit because even if you're working a normal job, you are having interactions with people all the time, whether it's people you're working with, people, your family, friends, it doesn't matter. It's someone at the gas station, and your energy makes a huge impact. So don't, and my team is they're getting a little feisty. They don't like when people compare themselves to other people. And when they compare, like you and I have been doing this, but it wasn't an easy journey. There was a lot behind the scenes. And I look at myself as I'm not anybody special. I just happen to be doing what I love to do. That's it. And I hope everybody finds things in their life that they love to do. And do you also feel that's part of the new energy that's here for people really searching what they love to do?
Yes. Okay. Before we go forward, they want to say the both and is that we are each special.
Mm.
So, on the one hand, we could say we're not special because everybody's special, but they really want us to recognize that we're each magnificently unique and we
Mm.
are each special. And so the way work is transforming is different for everyone, right? Because again, we're all unique. So what we each have our unique constellation of superpowers and gifts and talents and preferences, likes and dislikes. I don't
Yes.
like coffee. They're never gonna have me be a barista. I would hate it. I would smell coffee all day. I would go home smelling like coffee. Like ugh. Now you probably love coffee. That more power
Love the
to
smell of
you,
it.
more for
Love the smell
you.
of it, but I can't drink it. But I love to smell it.
So we're all different, right? And that's not good or bad, right or wrong. It just is. And we're moving into this reality, that 5D new reality, where we will more and more appreciate our own uniqueness and others' uniqueness. That's
Mm,
our definition of diversity and inclusion, where I love doing this. I love talking. I love writing. These are my superpowers. Um, and it's fun. To me, this is super fun. My inner golden retriever gets to make a new wonderful friend. Like I absolutely love Angela. And
love it.
other people may hate this. Don't do this, right? There's no shoulds, there's no supposed tos. There's just the most you way to do whatever it is you're doing in that moment. And that's not going to be the same all day, every day either. Some days you have a lot of energy. Some days you're more tired or calm. Just do whatever it is to be done in the most you way in that moment. And as you're looking at what to do, so this comes back to the taking a step and it feels yucky, right? I bought this
Yeah.
course on how to market my business and everything I do feels yucky. It's like, well, okay, that wasn't for you. Good to know. Now you know that's not the way to do it for you. And that doesn't make the person who sold it bad or wrong or evil. And it doesn't make you bad or wrong or stupid for having bought the course. You just needed to know that's not the way to do it. More and more, we're going to be doing the work that we were built for. Now,
Mm,
sometimes that, let's call it purpose work or, our superpower work is what brings in the money. And sometimes it's not. And that's not right or wrong either.
right.
Some of us love to do that maybe in a volunteer way or in the way that we parent and help people make it through childhood without so much of the gunk. Uh,
Mm,
there is no right or wrong way. And what you said about our energy is so powerful. It may be that you walking into the bank and smiling at the teller that day and having a little chat about what she was wearing saved her life. Like you don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but the angels do, and they will put you in the right place in line to be with that teller at that moment. So, talking about divine perfect timing. And sometimes you standing in line in front of that person behind you, your energy field transformed something going on in their world, and suddenly life didn't feel as awful. So they want you to know that sometimes your purpose work is standing in line at the grocery store or the bank, is being stuck in traffic in that particular spot so that your energy field overlapped with the cars around you. They can put you in the perfect place in the perfect timing to be supportive of other beings that you'll never know, you'll never meet. So they want you to know how much they love you and the contribution you make simply by existing and breathing. So if you've been putting pressure on yourself to find your purpose and do your purpose work, please, please be gentle with yourself. They want you to know you've been doing it all along by cooking the food with love, by going to the grocery store and handing a coupon to the person in front of you, or letting them scan your discount code so that they could get money off their purchase without having to give somebody all their information. They want you to know that they can use you every moment of every day in the most profound and delightful ways. And that we may not know because we're not meant to know everything. It would be a
mm.
lot to know, it would be
Yeah.
overwhelming. So, the way work is going to transform is moment by moment and interaction by interaction. So, sometimes it means you stay in that corporate job that maybe felt soul sucking last week. But this week, as you're going there and you're being loved for yourself first, maybe you're starting to transform your department or the whole building. So when you're in going into those situations that feel soul sucking, they really want to say, ask the angels to condition the space for you before you get there. And if you
Mm,
start to feel turbulence again, ask the angels to come in and recondition the space. Oftentimes they fill it with the energy of our own essence because that's so supportive for ourselves. But sometimes they may fill it with the energy of a deceased loved one who is particularly nurturing or whatever would be most supportive for you in that moment. And if you forget, and we do, and you start to feel off, like give yourself a timeout, excuse yourself from the meeting and go to the bathroom. If they don't want to let you out, tell them you're going to throw up, and I promise they will let you out of the meeting.
That's one way to get out of the meeting for sure.
Like you are not a prisoner, they will let you go. And so being love for yourself first, and then doing the things that light you up. So as you're in that maybe soul sucking position at a company that you thought you were going to love and that does have potential, you may hear somebody in the elevator talking about a position opening up in another department or on a different product that you would love, right? So as you're more able to be present because you're being loved for yourself, the angels will connect you with opportunities. So you don't have to figure it out. You don't have to make drastic changes, though you can. But we promise you that you are so supported right now. And if you are in a position that's really harmful to you, you also are so supported that they encourage you to liberate yourself if that is what needs to be done.
Mhm. I love that. I love the fact that they're there and it's taking the time to just step back, taking that time to take a breath and to look at it differently. And I like the when you're in a soul-sucking situation to look at it a little differently and ask for help. You're not there. So my team is giving me this visual of like everybody in a when they'd have like malt shops or the malt shakes and everybody's sucking that last drop where it's just and they're showing like the whole place is everybody's sucking that last drop out. When it gets there, you need to ask us to help refill that cup.
There you go. And I've been in buildings where they were energy vampires. The entire building sucked the life out of everybody inside of it. And on the days where I forgot to ask the angels to, wrap me in an angel bubble before I walked in, I would come out just like the tube of toothpaste that somebody had taken the knife and squeezed every drop out.
And when you encounter that, when you discover like, oh, I let myself get sucked out to this. I let it happen. I walked into it, I felt it, and I let it take a hold of me. How do you get yourself back? How do you inflate yourself back again? How do you bring that energy back again?
That's a great question. So the first thing is not to give yourself a hard time for forgetting to do the thing you intended to do before you walked in there. And they want to say, like, sometimes we feed our energy to others
Mm,
because it was really necessary.
yeah.
They actually want to go back to the in utero thing. Many of us took on some of our mothers' burdens in utero to
Mhm.
enable her to be able to parent us, to be able to make it through the day. We sometimes still do that as we move through the world. So they want us to be very gentle with ourselves. Sometimes it was what was really desperately needed, and we didn't think to let the angels do it. So we're always cutting cords. I imagine you do this too. Energetic cords connecting us to other people. Whenever we do that, the angels continue feeding energy to that other being or entity. It just no longer comes through you. So that's one thing you can do. Ask the angels from now on, you feed the energy to the building or the company or the project. It doesn't have to come out of me. And be so gentle with yourself. If you're feeling like that empty tube of toothpaste, give yourself whatever nourishes you. If you can't think of anything, take a nap. The angels often will bring you guidance in a dream or in a thought upon waking. Uh, if you get the most, nourishment from petting your dog or petting your cat, by all means. If it really nourishes you to laugh, watch funny goat videos or comedians you love, um, on a certainly on a soul level and likely on a conscious level, what will fill your cup again. And if you
Yes.
don't know, use the angel delegation statement. Thank you, angels, for filling my cup again. Thank you for taking care of me. Thank you for taking care of my energy levels. Thank you, angels, for taking care of everything.
I love that because a lot of times so many people when they get in those situations, then they're coming down on themselves like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Why didn't I recognize it? Why didn't I take care of it earlier? And they're coming down on themselves and then wondering, how do I get myself up? And like you said, sometimes if you can't find a way out, lay down and take a nap and recharge yourself that way. Find something that is going to enlighten you for the moment because it is so important. We take care of ourselves. We have this support, this amazing support, and that our teams, our angelic teams, and all the other ones that are there, they're all there supporting us. It's us taking a little bit of that heaviness off ourselves and knowing we do have a support team. Let them help. I just hear them, let us help. I feel like I got a bullhorn. Call us.
Yes, yes, the angels want to say it's a free will planet. So they're always helping, but they can do so
Yes.
much more and so much more, obviously, when we ask. So ask, and they want to jump in and say over and over again, there's nothing too small, there's nothing too big, there's no such thing as asking too often. They're infinite beings. They can literally help every being simultaneously on the planet. So you asking doesn't deprive anybody else. So ask all day, every day.
I think that's really important to hear because I hear a lot of people are like, "Well, there's other people that need it more than me. There's other people that need help more than me." And it is important to know everything is important. Whether you need help finding a pen in the moment to sign a paper, it's like, where is the pen? Or if it's something big like, "Oh, I've got a paper to sign. Is this the right thing to do? Can you help me if I go through this? How do I feel with it?" So big, small, getting a different car, use them. It's all about knowing you have the help. And my team is coming in, so they're fun. They just want everybody to know because there is a lot of car people that will be watching this too. And one of the things they taught me is when you're having an issue with a car, they have a good sense of humor. There's a lot of dead people over there and a lot of really good mechanics. So ask them to get a little intuitive thought of like, what can I do or what do I have to look for my car? Because they're there to help for all of those things. And I do want to say, I want to thank you because one of the things you said is when I said, I don't look at myself as special, but when you said we are all magnificent, and that is something for me and for others who the thing that I've been hearing so much is make sure you never let your ego get a hold of you and let your ego go out. But really, I think we've been taught ego is something bad, but there's really something a little light about that whole thing. It's paying attention to the words. Egotistical is saying I'm better than everyone else. I'm not. But when you said we are all magnificent, every single one of us, that's what, for me, to have everyone look at themselves as something so special and so magnificent. I don't want anyone to look up to me as something more than them, but I do want them to see the magnificence. And I like how you said, for all of us to see the magnificence in all of us. That's huge because we're taught so many times to keep yourself small. Don't say those things. And we are working through that energy. I'm one of them working through it on my own too. But to understand it's okay to be proud of who you are and what you've accomplished. It doesn't mean you're pushing it down people's throats. That's the difference.
Great. And being proud, so proud is a word that has a lot of gunk attached to it, right? You don't want to be
Yes,
prideful,
right.
but to acknowledge ourselves, to see
Yes,
ourselves, to appreciate ourselves
yes,
is liberating. Most of
yes.
us have been taught, starting in the family and then in school and then in the workplace, to get external validation, to get
Yes.
A's, to get good performance reviews, to get promotions. And the more we can self-see and self-appreciate, the the more we're going to enjoy our lives at the bottom line, right? Because those other people out there are in the middle of their own gunk, and some days they can see you and some days they can't. And the needier you are, the more repelling that energy is. So the minute you start self-seeing and self-appreciating, and it doesn't have to be, I'm so proud of myself. It can be, wow, Sue, you did the best you could in that moment. I love you. The more we can come from there, the more we let others off the hook. So give ourselves back our power. We don't need anything from outside of ourselves. And ironically, the more we do that, the more they're able to see and appreciate and validate us. But but that's just icing on the cake at that point. We're like, yeah, I know.
I think that's really key for people to understand is when you're finding the words like, I'm proud of myself, but then going, but like you said, it has gunk attached. So then look at what other words feel good that don't feel like they have all that gunk. I appreciate, grateful. There's all different words to use. Find the ones that work for you because everyone has their own triggers. And to really my team just wants to say everyone has their own words, everyone has their own triggers, everyone is unique and different, and they're in their uniqueness, something different is going to work for them. So don't think it has to be a certain way, but instead go within and just feel what feels good to me. Does that feel good? Does that feel lighter? Then change your words, change your perspective, and by doing so, you change who you are. And when we change each and every individual, and I like how you broke up where you said this book has to be more self-love. This is appreciating who we are. And because a lot of times we don't know how to do that. We haven't been taught that. And it's learning that. So you've been breaking it up. When's your next book coming out, or is it almost done?
I would say it's about halfway done. So I would love to tell you a time frame, but I have
Yep.
learned that I cannot do that. It will come out in divine perfect timing.
Absolutely. Well, I'm encouraging everyone to watch and follow Sue because then you'll know when the time is right, the book will be out there for you. But this book is something to really, really start with because we need to work on our each individual selves, and that in turn creates the collective self that really changes. The collective consciousness changes when each and every one of us works on us. We're the main we're the main part of everything. And my team always laughs at me because I'm okay at math, but I'm not a genius at math. And so I always have a lot of times Archangel Metatron, who is all about math, will work with me. And they think it's just hilarious. They're like, have fun with that one. But I found their sense of humor is really good. For everyone to have that more personal connection with all the angelic realms, the other realms that are out there, the other universes, this is a time to open that up. And I know we went a little bit longer, so I want to be cognizant of our time here. But I want to ask, is there something you'd like to cover before we close today?
Oh gosh. They just want to, they want to end with, if you love learning about different angels, do that.
Mm,
But you don't have to. You don't have to figure out who to ask. You can just say angels and they'll sort out
okay.
who does what. They love that Metatron helps you with math. I mean, that's an archangel is coming to be your math tutor or guide. How awesome is that? They want to know that that level of help is available to all of us. So you talked about the mechanics, all the dead mechanics who can come help you with your car. They want to say if you like to compose music and you love Mozart, Mozart will come play with you. It's fun for non-physical beings to have a physical being to play with and through. Anyone who they want to say living or dead, because we're eternal beings, can come and co-create with you. Not that you ever
Yes.
have to, right? You can do it on your own too if that's what lights you up. But they do want to add that this next leg of the journey is very much about connection.
Mm,
For those of us who are drawn to these teachings, and I don't even like the word teachings, but those of us who are drawn to these conversations
yes.
have a tendency to try and do it all by ourselves.
Mm,
And there was a lot of programming that said that, right? You got your grade based on what you did. And
right.
usually when you were partnered up with other people, they didn't pull their weight and we didn't like that and it wasn't fair. We have all that
Yes.
stuff, right? But they want to say, if you're feeling off, being love for yourself doesn't necessarily mean all by yourself.
Mm,
Ask your beloved for a hug. Call a dear friend. At, get a coach. Get a reading. Whatever it is that feels like a yes to you in that moment. You don't have to do it all by yourself. And asking for help allows somebody else to give. You likely are a giver, not a taker, right? Talk about programming, right?
Yes.
For somebody to give, somebody else has to receive. They're simultaneous and they are one. So please, please allow yourself to receive love, support, help with math, whatever it is. There are those who loathe doing what you love doing, and there are those who love doing what you loathe doing. And it's a gift to allow them to do what they love to do. It's not a weakness or a failing in you if you are bad at doing bookkeeping. There are people who love doing bookkeeping. Bless them by letting them do your bookkeeping. It will free you up to do the things you love and are amazing at. It's really that simple. Everything is really meant to feel easier, more joyful, more peaceful. All we have to do is show up as present as we can in the moment by taking care of ourselves, loving ourselves, and then tuning into our guidance.
I love that. And I love the fact that, like you said, my team is coming in. The side effects of taking care of yourself and letting yourself be open to other people and finding people who love to do the things you loathe to do by letting that happen and by taking care of yourself, the side effect is happiness, joy, calm, peace. And that's what we're all here to do. How many people want to have a more joyful life, a more happy life, peaceful life, and just exciting life in a good way, not in a bad way? There can be excitement that's not so fun.
Good point.
But
Yes, and we feel that connection. We feel
yes.
collaboration and camaraderie and supported by earth angels.
Because my team also wants to say, think of all the people here who are givers and love, love, love to give, love the feeling of being able to give to someone else. But they have such a hard time being able to receive it. And when they're having that hard time feeling like, how can I receive this? To stop for a moment and feel how good it felt for you to give. Now feel of the other person and feel how good it will feel for them for you to receive.
Thank you.
Oh, Sue, I have been having so much fun. I could talk forever.
Exactly. Yes. I didn't even notice how long we had been talking. It's been amazing.
It's so much fun. And I hope everyone else can feel also. My team just wants everyone here listening and watching to hear the joy we've been having, the fun we've been having, even when we're hashing over things when we talked about things in our past and things that maybe didn't go so good. We're still looking at it and being able to laugh about it and change. That's the freedom we're giving everyone. Everyone who's open to receiving that personal freedom, that's what it's about. That's what it's all about. So I am so happy to have been here. So happy to have met you today. It's been awesome. A great time. And I just want to encourage everyone again, make sure to go online and you can check out her free gift, The Soothing Energy from the Angels. And it's a downloadable recording when you're feeling off. And I've got to say, the energy going forward, going to be a little ups and downsies. So there may be some offsies. Go ahead and check into her recording because it's going to be so important. And people who are working through some of the narcissistic people out there, some of the not so happy, angry people out there, to go in and to listen to this because it's called Soothing Energy. And that link will be down below for people. So make sure to click on that because it's okay to go in and they're laughing. You know how sometimes you hit the repeat, repeat, repeat. They're saying it's okay to hit the repeat, repeat and listen because you need it. Take it. Take what you need.
I love that you said that because they want to add if you're working in a challenging place or you're, driving to your in-laws, you could play this below audible levels over and over again. Just put it on repeat on your phone and let your phone sit on your desk and it will help. It will soothe your nervous system.
That's awesome because they kept showing repeat, repeat, repeat. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's a really good thing because we do deal with difficult, challenging. I call them opportunities for growth. We deal with them all the time. We're human. But when we can deal with them in a way that keeps us in a higher energy and a lighter energy, and I hate, they keep saying we hate the word higher and all that. It's more lighter. It's a different energy, a supportive energy. When you do that, it makes all the difference in the world, and it does affect the people around you. Some you may not see any changes, other ones you may see changes, but they want you to know either way, you have made a difference. You have made an impact. You have made a change. And that's important to know. So, oh, I'm so excited. So again, for people to go to her website, to Sue's website, it's myangelcoach.com. And also on there is myangelcoach.com and the Angel Coach book. You definitely want to check out the book, the 63 messages. And it is so, I just know my team has shown me different snippets, and it's so filled with everything that can help and support us moving forward. Because there's a lot of times we feel like we've been going through everything alone. There's no one there for us. People don't understand. So instead of trying to get people around you to understand, go to this book and listen and read the messages from the angels that are there to help you through it. You're not alone. Take the help, take the support, and that's so important going forward for all of us. We are all going to need the community as we go forward to know we are all on the right track. It is going to be a beautiful world as we go forward. We're already creating it. So step into it fully and enjoy listening to my angel coach. And you definitely check it out. It's my angel coach. Receive your divine guidance and feel the angels' love. And the 63 messages to support and uplift you. You are definitely going to want to check that out. It is beautiful. I know it's beautiful because I keep hearing they're like perfect, perfect, perfect energy, perfect divine timing for this book. So thank you so much, Sue. I appreciate you. And again, check her out also Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And check out all she has to offer. It's beautiful. Check it out. So, Sue, I want to thank you again. Thank you for being here, for sharing your energy, sharing your heart, sharing your knowledge. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Likewise.
And then to remind everybody, make sure to watch the next episodes of Edge Talk Radio. They're on the first and third Wednesdays of the month, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you've missed any past episodes, no worries. You can find them on either my YouTube channel or Edge Magazine's YouTube channel. You can watch them there. They're also available as downloadable podcasts. So check out all the ways, all the amazing people. I can't wait for you to check out this beautiful life we are stepping into. And Sue is just part of that journey. And I am so happy to have you here. Thank you so much, Sue. And
Thank
for
you.
all of you out there, thank you all for listening, expanding, and amplifying our universe together. Thank you and have an absolute